Talking Cougs with a man who knows the most, Cougs head football coach Jake Dickert. Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Stacy, I'm doing great. It's always a great day to talk about the Cougs. Game day is right around the corner.
Oh, God. Okay, so that's actually my first question is just how weird it feels after what's been such a weird offseason with so many moving pieces that, like, week 0 is here already. Like, the start of the regular season is coming right up. Did it feel like a rush for you? Like, all of a sudden it's here? I mean, what's the start of the season feel like?
Yeah, life is just so much better with college football in it. That's the way it feels. It's like that first day of school. It's Christmas morning. I mean, it's the smell of the grass, the bands, the popcorn, the beer. I mean, it's just a little bit of everything. So the excitement's brewing on the Palouse, and we can't wait, for that big noon kickoff come August 31st.
Hey, Coach, the biggest question was who's going to follow up Cam Ward, and we got a glimpse of John Mateer over the last, couple seasons, man, the athleticism, the arm strength, and he's been announced as the guy who's going to be under center, man. What should we expect out of this young man?
Well, I think Coug fans should be really excited. He's waited his turn. He's really just a grinder as far as the scheme, the execution, and he can really make tons of plays with his feet, and he has a really, really big arm, So I meant what I said at the press conference when I said it was going to be John. He's going to be exponentially better every time he steps on the field. That doesn't mean it won't be with growing pains, but he's the right guy, the right competitor. He's got the right mindset and leadership capabilities to take this football team to where we want to go. So it was a long 8 months. It was a heck of a competition. Really respect both of those guys, but John came out as the guy that's going to give us the best chance to win.
I wanted to focus on that last part, Coach. I know that a head coach won't name a quarterback a starter unless he feels like that guy can lead a team when things get kind of tough. You talked about those leadership qualities you've seen in John. What do those look like? What have you seen from him?
Well, it's just been a really amazing journey because I've seen it ever since he was an 18-year-old kid. We signed John in January when he was going to an FCS school, and he's carried that chip on the shoulder. And that's that chip on the shoulder of every Coug that's ever been through this program. And from the moment he got here, he was that kid that was out there going through extra plays when no one was around. He was the guy I saw watching film in the meeting room, even though he was a backup when no one was around. And it's just amazing to see, how dedicated he is to the craft. So that doesn't guarantee success, but at least creates the environment for a guy like John Mateer to go out there and be his best every Saturday, and that's exactly what I'm going to ask of him.
Hey, Coach, if you've followed Washington State football with the last 20 years, you know that there are a couple of things you can count on, just guys being gritty and working hard and playing hard. Is that the way you would describe this team, and has there been any surprises?
Yeah, I think every team bump really takes on its own personality, and that identity won't truly reveal itself until game day. But from behind the scenes and in practice every day, this is the most competitive atmosphere we've had in my 3 years. And I think that's a great thing to say. We've always talked about, when I took over year 3 and building a really competitive program with depth, we just don't have all the big names. And I think that makes the daily really competitive and makes everyone earn their spot in their way. And we're going to put the best 11 guys out there every snap to go get it. And, names like Cyrus Webster will emerge. Fa'alili Fa'amui will emerge. Kyle Williams will continue to excel. Wayshawn Parker, the mid-year freshman, has been just phenomenal so far. So Ethan O'Connor has really matured a ton at that corner position. So behind the scenes, we just had a lot of guys just go to work and be ready for their moment. We're a team of nobodies that have an opportunity with this schedule to go prove who we really are.
Is that kind of the messaging that you've had with the team? I find it interesting you mentioned, we're a team of nobodies trying to prove who we are. Is this like a chip on your shoulder, kind of like, we got to prove them wrong mentality that these guys have been absorbing?
Yeah, and I think, Stacey, it really has to be because it's only about what we can do and what we can control.
Right.
And I think you alluded to the outside noise, the conference, the games we're playing. None of that matters. We got 12 opportunities that deserve our best, and don't worry about what the outside external expectations are. Standards are internal. The way we play and our toughness, we control all that. So it's just a approach that says everything's out there for us. We can still achieve all our goals, and no matter what league you're in, the goal now is to make the CFP. We have the schedule to do it, and we just got to take the right approach and the right mindset every week and go out there and continue to be a better team. The team that we're going to take in the week 1, it can't be the same team week 3, 7, 9, 12, whatever it is. We got to keep getting better. And I think every time this team takes the field, we're going to make plenty of mistakes, but we're going to learn from them and then have the opportunity to grow. You
mentioned this is what your third year running the show, and you expect development out of your players. What type of development has yourself and your coaching staff gone through?
That's a great question, because I sometimes look back and laugh at the head coach I was 2 years ago. And that's not a bad thing. It's just a willingness to look in the mirror and say, how can I grow? Because there were plenty of failures from last season. And I think if you're an elite leader, you're going to take ownership of that. And we looked at every phase of our program, why we felt like we underachieved. We don't dwell on it. We learn from it. And we implied those things to everything we did all the way back to January 1. This season, and August 31st, that game 1 is the fruit of the labor, not of the last 3 weeks, since January 1st, and training out in the snow and spring ball when no one's watching. So I think we got a consistent coaching staff. Not many teams in the country have a head coach, OC, DC, special teams coordinator, and head weight strength staff still intact. And we do. And I think that's a pride thing for all Cougs and people that want to be here, but that consistency will lead to success.
Coach, we talked a bit about the identity of this team off the field in terms of that chip on your shoulder and trying to prove who you are. What about the identity on the field? What kind of team are we going to see this year?
I think it's like anything, our offense is going to be explosive. We have to push the ball down the field. I think it's one of John's strengths. But I also think we have the support staff and around him to go out there and be explosive. And that's taking short passes a long ways, and that's throwing the ball down the field. But nothing matters. I think the biggest jump in our football team will be the offensive line. And we have 5 returners that have started games in the Pac-12. We got to lean on that experience, and they have to be physical. Defensively, the main focus is not giving up explosive plays. When you do that as a defense, it's amazing how successful you can be and what you can accomplish as a group. I think we got a very hungry group. We return all of our specialists, and we have very dynamic special teams returners. So I'm just excited to see it. I think as a coach, you go against each other and you see each other in the crimson and gray. I'm excited to be on the same sideline with the team, wearing the same colors going against the opponent. It's that time of year, and let's see where where we're at as a football team.
Coach, I really like the non-conference schedule, Portland State, Texas Tech, and then the Apple Cup in September, which is going to be weird. I've never watched an Apple Cup where I wasn't bundled up with a hoodie on or something like that. What goes into the non-conference scheduling? How does that come about?
Well, this year's obviously very unique. I think we put this whole schedule together 6 months ago, Bump, if I'm being honest. So for it to end up like this, it's a credit to our administration, our people, all the hard work behind the scenes to get it to this point. And there was some serious negotiations to get Tech here, and a lot of people moved things around. The Apple Cup needs to be played, in my opinion. There's too much tradition and rivalry and passion behind that football game. And I know the feelings behind it, and I share those feelings. But the excitement it is when you take that field in an Apple Cup is second to none, and I think you know that. So, and then 2 weeks later, Boise's going to be a top 25 team projected. They have a lot of hype. They have a couple All-American players, and just really excited about getting this season kicked off.